Hi, I'm back. So as you can see, today's title, I was a part of two cults. Two. Let me I guess start off by saying overall, because you know how people I know click on this, sensational, oh my god, two cults. It's not gonna get too sensational. I mean, I'm just gonna share my experience about it, and then you can decide whether it's sensational or not. Um yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first one, very well known. They're a well known organization, teetering on whether to say religious organization, but organization. They've been around for many decades. They have one main founder who at this point has passed away, but they're known for their like mass weddings. Okay, so I'm gonna say before I got introduced to them, I didn't hear about them. I knew nothing about them until I got in it, and people were like, "Oh, you're a part of this people," and I was like, "Huh? What's that?" But like overall, my experience with them, for the most part, has was fine. So anyway, how did I meet them? What happened while I was with them? And where am I at now with them? So I met them the summer of 2017. Okay, the summer of 2017, I was working at well, I can't say I was working at a church. All I'll say is that I'm a gig worker. So a lot of my work is like doing things here, doing things here, doing things here, doing things here, freelancing. So at the time I was freelancing teaching dance. One of my gigs was teaching dance at a church. 3 days a week, I believe at that point. And I remember like it was either after the first or second week, I was supposed to get paid from the church, and this church is not a part of the cult. Um, and I remember going to the church to pick up my check because I was supposed to get paid. They didn't have it. No, they had it, but the person that was supposed to sign it was not there. So I had to go back on a Friday. Is that right? Was that a Friday? No, Wednesday. I had to go back. Okay, I'm forgetting my days. It's because it's important for you to know the days. Um, I think it was no, it was a Wednesday. Okay. Was supposed to pick up my check, right? I teach at the church Wednesday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. After the second week, I was supposed to get paid Wednesday morning. The person that's supposed to sign the check was not there. So I left, and then I came back to the church later on in the evening when I was told the person that was supposed to sign the check was going to be there. Went back in the evening. The church was closed. So okay, I'm like, what can I do? Huh? What can I do? So usually going back when I go to this church, when I go to the church to teach, when I go back home or go somewhere else after I'm done teaching, whether it's to my next gig or wherever, I would tend to take the same route, like walking route. Like I'll get off the bus, walk to the church, get there, walk back to the bus using the same route all the time. This particular day, I was like, okay, well, no one's there at the church. I feel like I made this trip out here because also it took me some time to get out to this particular location in Brooklyn. Although I lived in Brooklyn at the time, in Brooklyn, New York at the time, it still took me a while to get there. Um, anyway, so I said, okay, well, I made this trip out here. Let me get something. Let me go something. So usually when this route that I took was usually the side road or the back street. So I said, well, let me go on the main street, see if I can pick up something from the store to get something. Because I'm like, I made the trip out here. Let me get something. So I decided to do that and came across a CVS. In front of the CVS, before I went inside, a lady stopped me and said, hey, we have this event happening this Saturday. We're looking for people. Are you interested and available? And I was like, huh? What? What's happening? So she gave me a flyer. I looked at it, and they were looking for 5,000 people to be a part of this 5,000 voice choir. Okay? And I was like, I don't really sing though, but that's nice. But the event was happening. So again, this was a Wednesday. The event was happening on a Saturday, like Saturday evening, at Madison Square Garden. And I was like, this also is kind of close. It's like happening soon, you know? And under that, where they said looking for 5,000 singers, they said they're looking for 300 dancers, praise dancers. And I was like, maybe I can do that. I have a background in dance. Maybe I can do that. So told the lady, thank you. She said, oh, it'd be great if I can get you in contact with the person. I said, sure. So she gave me some more information. I went home, contacted the number that she gave me, and I looked up online and kind of wrote my information down because they wanted you to fill out a form. So I filled out the form. Immediately that same day, I got a call back saying, hey, we got your message. We definitely want you to be a part of it. Here's the dance. They sent me the video. Here's the dance. Once you learn it, I was like, okay. So I looked at the video, learned it. They had rehearsal Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday early afternoon. Then Saturday, well, like a Saturday morning. Then Saturday evening was a show. I was like, okay. So Saturday afternoon, evening was a show at Madison Square Garden. Was that the first one? Madison Square Garden? Yeah, at Madison Square Garden. So, all right. So I'm like, am I performing at Madison Square Garden this Saturday? Like the world's greatest arena is very famous and popular, where the New York Knicks play, and so many amazing artists have been and sang and performed. Everyone from Taylor Swift to Beyonce to Kevin Hart. I mean, just people. The list is endless of people that have performed there. So I'm like, So anyway, got the video that evening. Very simple dance. Went in the next day, knew the dance, and people were like, oh my gosh, who's this person? I mean, I was with other praise dancers that were there. But I think the fact that I was new and the fact that I learned the dance without having to be to any rehearsals, I think they were like, who's this person? So that was Thursday. I think they were so enamored with me, grateful, that they saw something within me, that they were like, we want to get you, because everyone had to wear white also, the praise dancers. They said, we want to get you a suit. I was like, huh? We want you to dance in a suit. I was like, okay, sure. So Thursday after the rehearsal, they went to this place to get me a white suit, did my measurements. Went to rehearsal on Friday, but after rehearsal, went to get my suit. The white suit was ready. Yeah. So I got a free suit. A free white suit. That was nice. And Saturday was a show. And I performed and danced at Madison Square Garden on Saturday. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Okay, great. So then, that later on that year, because I think this was like July this happened. In September, they were going to go to South Korea. And I was like, oh my gosh, South Korea. At this point, this is 2017. I've always wanted to go to South Korea. Probably since really maybe 2012. Because I started getting into Korean dramas and Korean music and K-pop back around that time. So I'm pre-BTS, pre-Blackpink. Okay, so I was on board before K-pop really blew up. And, I'll be watching my Korean dramas, listening to K-pop, watching my Korean movies, and people be like, Kadeem, what you watching that stuff for? Oh, like, why? Korean. And then what happened? Why are you watching those Korean movies? Then Parasite happened, and that blew up. Why watch Korean dramas? Squid Game happened. That blew up. Why are you listening to K-pop? BTS, Blackpink happened. Okay, see? I was out here blazing the trail for y'all. Y'all now y'all get it, right? Now you understand? Huh? Now you get it? Anyway, I was like, oh my god, that'd be amazing. So to go to South Korea with them. So um at the time, the person that was in charge of arts things and doing arts based things within the organization was like, hey, you seem to be really good with dancing. Would you want to maybe help out with some of the dance things that we're doing? We're going to be dancing in South Korea. We can invite everyone. We want to invite you. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Y'all, they paid for mostly everything: hotel, food. I just had to pay for half of my flight. But they paid for everything else. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Granted, like, I'm grateful they paid for everything. I'm grateful that I was able to go to South Korea, a place I've always wanted to go to. But I was with them all day in a hotel conference room from 6:30 a.m. all the way to 8:30 p.m. Like, it was a long day, and I was there for 10 days with them. Like, in conferences or going with them to different events that they had. I had to be with them, right? Because this organization, they booked my trip, they paid for everything, so they expected me to be there. Remember, there was a day where I tried to skip out on one of the morning sessions, and they called me. It was like, hey, Kadeem, like that same day, like after the session was over. Hey, Kadeem, we didn't see you in the session. You okay? What's happening? I'm like, yeah, I was a bit sick. I mean, I wasn't. I wanted to go explore South Korea, a place I've always wanted to go to. I wanted to go explore. So I did. But that's when I realized, I need to do things in my own terms. I have to. Because I don't want to be stuck to anybody's timeline, to what anyone else wants me to do. I need to do this on my own schedule and really pave my own way, which I was able to do years later. In 2023, so this year, I was able to go to South Korea and do it on my own terms and pay for my own ticket and everything, which was great. And I had the time of my life. It was amazing. Anyway, so did that. Went with them to South Korea and danced, which was great. Got a chance to do that. Yeah, but then it was like, okay, now we want you to maybe come in and like, come to our Sunday services. I was like, I don't know about that. Because then I started to feel like, I guess they felt like, we made them come to South Korea. Not everyone was able to go. That dance, I mean, I was the only dancer that went from the dancers that were at Madison Square Garden. Out of 300 dancers that performed, I was the only one that went. They bought me a white suit. They didn't buy anyone else any other clothing. I think they also saw potential in me of maybe being a leader to lead dances, which I did for subsequent, what they call rallies for them. So they had, the first one I was a part of was at Madison Square Garden in 2017. The one in 2018 was at Nassau Coliseum, so another big arena. 21 in 2019 was at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. So yeah, so every year, I mean, I got a chance to perform in these mega arenas, which was amazing and awesome. And after 2017 and 2018, 2019, I was actually able to like lead the other dancers and hold rehearsals and even at one point choreograph a dance for them. And got a chance to perform with Hezekiah Walker, gospel artist, and Yolanda Adams, another gospel artist. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And yeah, and then to run rehearsals, they paid me. It wasn't necessarily the rate that I wanted, but they paid me. I'm like, sure. They introduced me to other higher ups, other important people, the people, I guess, more on the corporate inner circle side of things, which was okay, kind of cool. But I noticed, because I guess they thought, oh, okay, we're giving him these things, right? These trips, responsibility to do things, meeting people from the corporate side of the organization, because no other members, really, of the organization. I'll say for this instance, no other members of their other churches that they have worldwide Members just aren't walking up into their corporate New York City office to meet people. Like that doesn't happen. So I think for me it was like, or for them it was like, oh well, we got him, giving him free trips places, free clothing, letting him do what he wants to do, write, teach, dance, all these things. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And they were very nice people, like very, very nice people. I believe they're doing a lot of amazing, positive things in the world. I also believe on the other end that there's some other aspects of their beliefs that I'm like, not really here for. That they believe that one thing they believe is that Jesus Christ failed in his mission, and that the founder of this organization was meant to continue Jesus' mission. I'm like, okay, that's your belief. That's not mine. Not knocking anyone's belief. If that's what you believe, that's great, right? But that's not mine. And I believe that they really wanted me to really be a part of the organization, like learn their holy book, their manual, be a part of their classes. And at one point, they wanted me to kind of come and talk about my experience, like teaching and being in South Korea, which I did at one of the Sunday services. But I can tell they were trying to pull me in, because they even tried to connect me with one of their members. I know they tried to connect me with one of their members romantically to kind of pull me in, and I was like, y'all, I'm not. In my head, I was like, I'm not here for this. Like, I think y'all are great people. Like, y'all have been very nice. Yeah, but I believe that for them, and again, I did not experience some of the other cult-like things that they might be known for, that people have said that they did back in the day. I'm not sure if they even do some of those things now. I'm not sure. I was not a part of that. But I do know is that they were very nice. They took care of me well. I also know that they gave me gifts and treats, I think, to draw me in to what they were doing. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm not here for it. Like, I feel like I will always be your cheerleader. Like, I'll be on the side, like, yes, this is great, you can do it. But I'm never going to join the team. Huh? I'll cheer you on as much as you want me to. I'll maybe come on the court and help you out a bit. But I'm not going to join the team. Because that's not what I believe. Their beliefs. But again, nice people. Had a great time with them. So I don't really have any qualms with them at all. I mean, the people that I think, the people that I was connected with, for the most part, we still might talk here and there, although very rarely, but we, still talk here and there. But yeah, I mean, I know that within myself, I'm not going to join them. I know that I feel like I'm really good at. I feel like I have a few gifts. I think we all have gifts. I know I have some gifts. I know one gift of mine is listening. Although obviously, on this YouTube channel, I talk because you ain't talking back to me, right? I can just sit and listen, right? Because I can't hear what you're saying, right? But when I'm with other people, especially like one-on-ones, I'm really good at listening. I know that's a gift of mine is listening. Another gift of mine, I believe, is choreography, creating choreography, for sure. Being very versatile at that. I believe another gift of mine is being able to detach myself from an experience and see the objective bird's eye view of things. Where sometimes people can get like really like in it, like in things. They're there in the trenches, Sometimes they can't always pull out and sort of see what else is happening. I feel like I'm really good at that. I feel like I'm really good at like being able to kind of see all aspects of what's happening and kind of like not take myself out of it. I can still be in it, but like see myself in it from a different perspective. And I realized in doing that, I was like, okay, there's a few things that are happening here that I'm not okay with. I think other things are great. I'm not okay with, so I'll still connect with y'all, but up to a certain point. I mean, as I said, I did dance stuff with them. I choreographed. So even for me, like being able to work with A-list gospel stars, and I was even able to work with why am I blanking out on his name? Oh, George Faison. Okay, if you're in the arts, you know George Faison. George Faison, he's a choreographer of The Wiz on Broadway. Got a Tony Award. I'm a huge fan of The Wiz. The Wiz, Dreamgirls, I'm like huge fans. So when I got a chance to work with George Faison for I think it was the Prudential Center, the Prudential Center arena, when they were there, I got a chance to work with George Faison. Like a dream. That's a dream. So, again, like many ways, just fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So I don't really have any qualms about them. I think they're great people. But I realized, right, we think about the cult, and again, I did not experience, I'm going to say this again, I did not experience some of the other cult-like things that maybe other people might talk about, sleep deprivation and taking them away from their homes and not feeding them and, all that stuff. I didn't experience that. But I do know that they were treating me to all these things, right? I think they saw a value in me, which was great. Thank you. But I think they were treating me to all these things that they weren't giving necessarily to really anyone else to help that be the thing to make me decide to join their organization. I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm good. So that was cult number 1. Okay? Cult number 2. I know this is a long video. Cult number 2, they are call them a spiritual group. They do great work in community, right? And these cults, I'm saying the word cult like that because I'm like, they could be considered that, and people have called them that. And I'm using this word for the video, maybe kind of sort of clickbait-ish, but they're known as that. People call them that. But for me, sometimes my experience was a bit different. But again, I believe because I have this gift of being able to see the bird's eye view, kind of see what's really happening, I didn't get caught. I believe if I did not have that bird's eye view, I probably would have got caught. People sometimes talk about you have to be strong mind and strong willed. These cults, they do really well at breaking down your will, like breaking down your willpower. And if that's broken down, you don't really have a strong mind because that's broken down. But I think the ability to go beyond the mind and to kind of pull out and kind of go to a higher view and to go to a more objective view and kind of have a more abstract view and a more view that's more detached, like be in it but still be detached, because that's a gift of mine. I was able to kind of see, this is what's happening. So this other group I was a part of for a number of years. So let me think. I mean, there's so much background from this particular group. Initially connected through the church I was going to back in Brooklyn, and then years later, one of the members of that church started his own wellness group, and it was great. Was learning a lot. I mean, at one point, like I was like with him, helping him out with like his difficult clients he was seeing and going to where it was working to sort of help him out with certain clients, which is great. I learned a lot. Great process. Learned so many things about energy healing and wellness and things, which is great. But I realized at a certain point, it's like something here is happening I feel uncomfortable with. Like very uncomfortable. To the point where I was like, it's kind of becoming brainwashy. And the thing about the leader of the group is that he knows all these techniques. He knows these techniques of brainwashing, these tools, and I feel like I've seen him use it on people, and he's tried to use it on me a few times. I know that there's this technique that people sometimes talk about in trying to think what this community, like the, it's not the wellness community. It's like if you're trying to connect with someone in like these like rapport building communities, if you're trying to build rapport with someone, sometimes they tell people to like mimic the other person's words back to them or mimic their body language. That kind of helps to build rapport easily and softly with someone. Okay. So I would notice that this particular like group leader, that he would mimic me a lot. And I'm like, why is he doing that? But then I realized that someone close to me was trying to get me to be close to him, to kind of be like a father figure. And to the point where I was told to give him Father's Day cards, which I did because I respected this person that's close to me. But then it felt uncomfortable. I was like, why am I doing this? You know? Because at one point I was, also told later on that, they were trying to force a relationship between me and him to be like, father son. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that to be forced, but like many ways great. I learned a lot. I know that there are people who are diehard fans of this group, and I think again they do great work. But I know I had to pull out at a certain point because I was like, I feel uncomfortable being here. I know something here is happening that's not right. I know there were other things that were happening amongst the group with gossip and stuff that I wasn't here for. I know there were other things happening with romantic escapades I was not here for and knew about that before others did, because I like to say I'm a baby psychic. What does that mean? Meaning I have certain spiritual abilities, being able to tune into certain energies, frequencies, being able to sort of see clairvoyantly, or sometimes have these clairsentient feelings about things, to be like, why do I get this feeling that this is happening? It's not a why, it's more like, oh, this is happening, so I get this feeling. Being able to kind of feel beyond what might be perceived to be happening. And I have the ability to kind of do that even with like seeing things, being able to kind of see energies and kind of see auras, and I might be saying things, people like, what's an aura and all this stuff. Just see other things that people may not be able to necessarily see, right? Spiritually, energetically kind of see things. So there's certain things I realized that was happening because I was able to kind of see things and kind of tune into things without even realizing it. But sometimes things would just come to me and be like, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, I can see that. That's what's happening. Most of the time I didn't force. Most of the times when I see things, I don't see things or feel things. I don't force them to happen. They just happen. They just kind of come to me. There are a few times where I might try to force it when I'm in like a wellness workshop or doing a one-on-one with someone because they're asking about a certain thing, and I kind of maybe want to see kind of what's happening with them. But most of the time in my day-to-day life, I'm not trying to be like looking at people to kind of see what energy they got around them. I don't do that. I like to use the work for good, right? And to help people, not just for my own gain, just to kind of whatever, see or feel stuff. But I feel like that there were things being used that people knew, also, that were being used for their own gain. And I wasn't here for that. So I left. And realizing that, there are things that cults do, right? So one thing I mentioned before, the previous one, was that they gave me a lot of things, gifts and trips, and oh, great, yes, we'll treat you out, and then they want you to join. But then something interesting happens when you leave a cult. If they don't succeed in brainwashing you and really getting you a part of their thing fully, sometimes they might try to find a way to get you back. If they can't, then sometimes they try to tarnish your name or use fear. or use people that you know against you. I noticed that was happening. As I left, it felt like at a certain point it became a competition. And I'm like, why? There's no competition for me. Like, y'all do what y'all do great with wellness stuff. I'm gonna do what I do. Like, there's no need to compete. And I heard from someone else who worked with them that people in the organization were saying stuff about me. And I was like, why? And why does it feel like there needs to be a competition? And people close to me, things were being said to them to then be translated to me to be used as a fear tactic for me to come back. I'm not here for that. Also, things are being said to people that are close to me to then, I feel in some ways, tarnish my name and to kind of push me away from them. And I'm like, I mean, if that's what you want, then I will. I'm gonna, back off, which I have done. Some people that have been close to me, I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing. You're still part of this group. You're still connected to the group. That's great. Good for you. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. But I need to distance myself because now stuff is happening even on a deeper level that I'm not here for. Right? And that's okay. Congratulations. If you need to do that, if that's what you feel, good for you. I'm not here for that. I'm here to help other people with the work that I do wellness. They do wellness, I do wellness. Great. We do it in different ways. They have a much larger ability to even do stuff because there's people part of the group. With my stuff, it's just me. So, and I would say, I think I realized to me, you might be asking, well, how do you feel about that? About them tarnishing your name and trying to use brainwashing, getting people that you feel that are close to you against you and trying to use fear. At a certain point, it really disturbed me. Because at first I was like, oh my God, maybe. Because at one point I was told my energy is dark. If you don't come back and join, it's going to be too late. That's what I was told. If you don't come back and join us, if you don't come back and join us, because your energy is dark, it's going to be too late to do something now. I'm like, y'all are using the same tactics against me that y'all said y'all hated, that other certain Christians, fanatical Christians, use in regards to if you don't do this, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're going to go to hell. Using the same techniques. They don't realize it, right? But again, the ability to, from me, I know it's a gift, to detach from the situation, kind of get the objective feel. I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here. Adding distance. So I would say for me, I think that's even one of the reasons why, clicking. This is even one of the reasons why I feel so happy being a nomad. Because at a certain point, I was like, I've always wanted to travel, but I feel like I really couldn't the way I wanted to. Because I'm like, that's not what people close to me do. This is not what family does. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Then at a certain point, I was like, but people that are close to me live in one area. I feel like I should just be with them, and I really can't do what I want to do. But once all this stuff went down, I was like, oh, I'm out. Thank you. Next. I'm gonna live my life now. Because there's not that connection, I would say, to feel like I need to stay for other people. Because now I'm gonna go live my life the way that I want to. So this was a story time. Do I consider both of these to be a cult? The first organization, I can't say. I mean, there well maybe cult-like things there. I was treated very well. Now, I feel like I was not brainwashed. I feel like they didn't try to come after my character or tarnish me or use fear at all. I mean, they got annoying. Sometimes them always saying things. Oh, you should come to the group. You should come to blah, 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 learn about. But I didn't really get that. Maybe cult-ish things that were happening, but I didn't really think it was a cult. The second group felt to me like it was more of a cult. But are they a cult? I don't know. I feel like this is the thing where it's some cults do really good things. I think both groups that I was a part of did and do really good things. I just think that maybe some of the other internal practices maybe aren't necessarily the best, But again, the first group treated me well. The second group treated me well until I kind of left, you know. And even when I was with the group, other stuff was still kind of happening. So, I think the second group might be more cult-ish. But again, like they do great things. I'm not, making excuses for them. I think they do great things, but I just think that um, being a part, I feel like you should be a part of something that you want to go to, that you feel happy with, that you feel a connection with other people. And the people that are part of the second group, they feel that. I'm like, great, good for you. For me, I don't feel that anymore. At one point I did. Not anymore. So I had to kind of step away. Right? So sometimes it's about kind of figuring out where are you in your life. Because realize life goes through seasons. Right? In the same way there's winter, spring, fall, summer. Our life is the same way. We go through certain seasons. And certain seasons, it's meant for us to be a part of something, a group, a part of a relationship, an experience, a job. Then sometimes it's time for us to leave. Do something different. It's a different season. So within a different season comes a different thing to do, different connection, or sometimes a different disconnection. So we can sometimes reconnect with ourselves. So for you in your life, if you realize that maybe you're coming out of a season, or coming out of an experience or situation or relationship, and you're like, why is this happening? I really wish I could go back to that. Maybe realize what you really want to do, or what you really connected with, is that thought of that person, or the thought of that situation, or the thought, or maybe even the feeling of that experience from the past. Even if that past was a month ago, or a year ago, or 3 years ago. But realizing that as seasons change, so do we. So does our life. So do our needs and our wants. So realizing it's okay to let go. And in this season, wherever you're at, I hope that you find happiness, joy, peace, and fulfillment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.